Good evening, one and all to present here. I am happy to welcome for the fourth day of Matlab training program. So from the last session, we discussed major 2 to 3 topics we discussed. One is we discussed for operators in Matlab. From in Matlab, we have discussed 4 different type of operators. One is relational operator, then logical operator, bitwise operator, and set operations. So with the help of in relational operators, we discussed for lesser than symbol, greater than symbol, lesser than equal, greater than equal, etc. From the logical operators, we discussed for and or not. Then from the bitwise operator and the set operator also we can discuss union, intersection, and difference. That is the first topic we discussed in the last session. Then the another topic from the last session, we have the decision making. From the decision making, we discussed for if else, if else, then nested, switch statement, etc. Then the looping also we discussed from the last session, while loop, for loop, nested loop with the help of break and continue. Then again we discuss for vector. Then how we are going to create it for the vector. With the help of vector, how we can call it, which is the reference value. Then we discussed various vector operations like transpose, appending, vector dot product, etc. Then the third topic we discussed for matrix in Matlab. From the matrix, we can do for the various operations. Then finally, we started for the cat function. Then we can do for the various array function from in Matlab, and Matlab colon also we discussed in the last session. Yeah, so these are the major topics we discussed in the last session. So today we are going to start out for some other new topics. So what we are going to discuss for in this session, so we are going to discuss for some interesting topic in this session. So first we are going to start at, okay, that is strings in MATLAB. So what are the strings is there? With the help of string, how we are going to do for the various operations. So before starting these strings, we know about it, which is the version from in MATLAB. It's supported for minimum and maximum. That is the integer data type. We are going to find, so which is the maximum and minimum is supported with the help of in MATLAB. So for some versions, it's supported for, okay, some maximum number of integers, smallest and large. For example, we are going to utilize the function for sometimes we are going to use for this maximum and minimum values that can be represented with all types of integers. How we can use it for this int maximum and int minimum? So what it will return, both functions we are going to taking for only in the integer data type, then which argument we are going to display. For example, sometimes we are going to find it, what is the maximum of int in 8 bytes, then int minimum for 64 bits. So how it will find it? With the help of this int max and the int minimum means, it will return which is the maximum value and minimum values that you can represent with the integer data type. For example, we are going to do some simple example with MATLAB. One is we can display what is the smallest and the largest signed integer data. So here we can find it, the value of range for integer 8 bytes. Then how it will display the result? The result we want to display, which is the minimum and maximum for this 8 bit. So we want to print it, that is we can using from in MATLAB printf, then int minimum for this 8 bytes, then int maximum for this 8 bytes. We are going to check what is the output it shows for this minimum and maximum for the given inputs. So we can start in MATLAB with the help of in MATLAB how it shows the result for this minimum and maximum. So we started this MATLAB. With the help of this MATLAB, we are going to find in 8 bytes. So what is the minimum and maximum? So it shows for minimum and maximum from in MATLAB. Okay, here we can add the range is minimum and maximum from 8 bytes. The range is started with minus 128 to plus 127. So this is the range we are going to using for the integer data type in 8 bytes. Again, we are going to try to do for the another one example with the help of in 16 bytes. From in 16 bytes, which is the minimum, then which is the maximum. So we are going to write the minimum and maximum for the 16 bytes. So the range is minimum for int 16, then maximum of int 16 means it's supported for minus 32,768 is the minimum range from an integer data type if the bytes are 16. Then what is the maximum range we can add from the integer data type? And 32,767 is the maximum range of integer with help of in 16 bytes. Then another one example we try to do for with the help of that is 32 bits, how much is the minimum and maximum. From this minimum and maximum, we have the ranges for in 32 bits for this is the value we can got it if we are going to using for minimum and maximum of if the byte is 32. Why we are know about it, this type of data type means whenever we are going to give the input, depends upon the data type, we can add. So how we can add it for this type of values? Yeah, with the help of the 16 bits and 32 bits and 64 bits. What is the minimum and the maximum range we are going to find with the help of the function of minimum and int maximum. Sometimes we are going to find for unsigned integer. So how we can find it? This unsigned integer means we can write it int minimum for this unsigned. So we can mention it unint 8 bytes. So the 8 bytes integer means it shows for minus 128 to plus 127. But uninteger, so we can using for unsigned, it's the range is minimum is 0, maximum is 255. So unsigned also we know about it. What is the minimum range from 8 bytes? What is the minimum range for in 16 bytes means it shows the range of 16 bytes 0 to then 65,535 is the maximum range of unsigned integer. If we are going to use for unsigned integer in 32-bit means okay, what is the range it's supported for in unsigned? So unsigned is always start with in 0 to some ranges. So this is the ranges for in 32-bit if the values are unsigned. If in 64-byte means what is the unsigned integer, we have the values. So that is the ranges we are going to find in minimum and maximum of 32-bit, 64-bit for signed and unsigned. So that is the ranges we know before starting any type of program from in Matlab. So that is the range for in 16. What is the syntax we are going to use? Then what is the syntax we are going to use for in maximum? If the numbers are in signed, then what is the minimum and maximum for in signed in 64 bits? So here also we have unsigned integer data. What is the minimum and maximum for in 8 bytes? So uint, then uint 16, then uint 32, uint 64 for integer, and we can mention it the range from 8, 16, 32, and 64. That is the ranges we have. So the next one is how we can utilize for the smallest and the largest in the floating point. So this function also very interesting when we are going to do for any type of floating values. What is the minimum and maximum we are going to calculate or we are going to find. What is the syntax we are going to find for this minimum and maximum for the floating point is one is real minimum, real maximum. So here we can try to find the minimum and the maximum of the real numbers. First we can add it for the syntax is real maximum of single, real maximum of single. So what is the minimum and maximum? So that is the procedure how we are going to find from the floating values with the help of minimum and maximum. But here we can find it the minimum of real, maximum of real with the help of in the single. So that is we can write it the range of minimum and the maximum of single. Then we can find what is the real minimum of single, real maximum of single. So this is the range for the negative values. So we can start with the negative symbol, then the positive range from single for real minimum, then single for real maximum of positive. So that is the ranges also we know about it before doing for any type of programs in the before declaring any type of variables in the data type. Then another one is we can find what is the minimum and maximum of double precision. Sometimes we can do for the statistics formula in the precision format. What is the ranges of in precision value of real maximum in double, real minimum in double and the negative. then real minimum and real maximum of in double when we are going to find for smallest and largest of double position with the help of in floating point. So that is also we want to remember when we are going to start some programs with the help of the smallest and the largest floating point value. Then next one is we know about it, how we are going to use strings in MATLAB. I think one of the participants is asking also the last session, how we are going to using string in MATLAB. So I'll show about it, how we are going to declare the string. After declaring the string, how we are going to call for in, we want to display in the various formats. Like here, we can create the simple procedure for the string. How we can create it? One is we can create it for string is the quite simple in MATLAB. The character we can add. How we can declare? Here we can declare for my underscore string. So that is the variable. This variable we are going to store in which character we needed. So we can store the character value is, that is the name we are going to store. After storing, then we can add for the string we want to display, then ASCII value we want to display, then string back to the character, string in 16-bit we want to display, then string back to the character. So these are the possibilities. After declaring the string, we can call it. For example, we are going to declare one simple string with the help of in MATLAB. How we can declare my underscore string, that is the variable name, then equal double quotation, what is the name we want to print it. So if you print it this, the string, it will print it, which is a string we are entered. So that is the procedure, how we are going to use it string in MATLAB. Then after declaring this MATLAB, the string, then we can call it this type of procedure we are going to call. What type of procedure we are going to call it means, one is how we are going to combining strings into cell array. So combining strings with a different could be plain as well as string. In the array has to be the same length. If you want to use for the blank space at the end of the string, it's equalize their length. These strings to equalize their length. Sometimes, if we are going to do for this type of combining strings means, we need for the more efficient way to combine the strings into convert resulting in array into cell array. How we are going to convert it for the string into cell array means, from in MATLAB, the cell array also can hold some different sizes. What type of sizes it have means, this type of types of data in an array, cell array is also provided for more flexible way to store strings in varying length. How we are going to convert it for the string character array into cell array means, we have the syntax in MATLAB. What is the syntax we are going to using for converting character array into cell array means, we can add for the function is, that function it is called cell string, that is cell str. So this function we are going to using for converting character array into cell array of string. Here I show about it some suitable example for combining this string array. Here we have the first string is, we can mention it name. So name we can write it, which is the name we needed. Then position also you can add it. Then work cut, that is also another one string. So three strings are declared. We want to combining for this all strings. So we have one more variable is profile. This profile we can write it character of name, position, works at. These three strings we are going to combine it. Again, we are going to convert it to self string. So what is the variable? Variable is profile. The profile we are going to display what output it shows. For example, the same program we are going to try, then what output we are going to expected means after combining, we want to display in the string format. So we can try to do for some simple example, the same string, how we can display. So first we want to display or we want to initialize the variable. So which is the variable? Again, we want to write it. So which is the position? Then the position also we can mention it in the string format. Then we are going to combine. How we can combine it? We can combine with the help of one more string. That string we can mention it. How we can combine it? The combining with the help of the string. The combining string we have. From this combining, we can write it. So what are the strings there? We have the three strings are there. One is position, one is name, then position, then work at. Yeah, if we are going to combining for this type of strings, it shows the result after combining. So it shows what is the cell string. The output is also shows in the cell string format. Then how we can have the various functions from in string means we have a lot of functions are there. These type of functions we can utilize storing the text in character arrays, then combining the character array, etc. We will show about it some simple example how we are going to combining one or two strings. So we can using when blanks means it's we are going to create the string of blank of characters. Sometimes we can using for the cell string. The cell string it shows what is the array of the string from character array. Sometimes we can add for this character. Character is also converted to the character array. Then is cell string, we are going to determine whether the input cell array of string or not. Is character, sometimes we can add determine whether item is character array or not. S printf, we can add for format data into string. Sometimes we can add concatenating the string. The concatenating the string in the horizontally, we can add for strcat. Str join, this is join the cells or strings in cell array into single string. So that is if we have two strings, both strings we are going to combine it or join with the help of this string join. Str join. Sometimes we are going to utilize for determine the whether item is character array. So is character, is letter. Sometimes array elements are alphabetic letters. So that time we can add is letter. Is space, we can add for array elements that are space characters. Is str prop, determine whether string of specified category. Scanf, read the data from the string. Then str find one string within another. Strrep means it's replace the string. Str split, it will split the string at specified delimiter. Then str took, it will shows which is the selected parts of string we are showing. Sometimes we are going to validate the string. The procedure for validate the string means check validity of text string. Then SYMVAR means a source determine symbolic variable in expression. Then regular expression we can use for match regular expression. Match regular expression is the case insensitive. Then replace string using regular expression. So this type of various string operations are there, or string functions are there. We are going to using the various purpose for this type of strings. Yeah, so we can try to do for some simple string functions like string concatenation, string comparison, then string lowercase, string uppercase, string justify, etc. So we can try to do for one example for this string comparison. Then string comparison for I, string comparison n, there is a n character. Then this is string comparison first letters of n character. So we can try to do for simple example with the help of in string means first we can try to do for initialize the string. We can write it string str1 is equal to welcome. So that is the first string we can add. Then second string str2 is equal to, that is Bharatiya University. That is the second string. So string 1 is welcome, string 2 is Bharatiya University. So we are going to concatenate in both string. So str cat, what is the first string? First string is str1, second string is str2. If we can concatenate it, both strings are combined. So welcome to Bharatiya University. So this is we are going to using for the string concatenation. Then we can try to do for string uppercase. So str upper, then str1. So str uppercase, how we can utilize? Just we can apply for upper str1. That means the welcome is shows in the uppercase. Then we can find it. Okay, str3 is equal to number 1. Is the caps. Then we can try to do for the lower case. So lower str3. So number 1 shows in the lower case. So like we are going to compare strcmp. The first string is str1, str2. The first string is welcome. The second string is Bharatiya University. So both strings are not equal. So the message source is false. That is 0. Then we can compare strcmp, str1, str2. So str1 and we can compare str1. So both strings are equal. Welcome, then welcome. So the result is source 2. So the logical value is 1. So these various type of functions are there. We are going to utilize the various purpose of in different functions. Then we are going to know about it. This lowercase, uppercase, then str justification, justify, etc. Then we can do for some simple example from with the help of in string functions. The first string is we are going to find a is equal to pi of 1000 multiply with ones 1 comma 5. What we want to print it? Here we are going to print it What is the value of float? What is the value of point to float? What is the value of this? That means what it shows the result with the help of we can declare the variable is a. After declaring this a, we are going to call for this a, how it shows in the result in the different format. So it shows the different format of inputs. A is equal to this. We can find the float value means it shows like this. Then only two digits after the dot means dot 2f. It shows the result is dot 59. Then before we can add for the plus symbol. So plus, what is the value? Then after dot, we have two digits. So it shows the result is like this. Then we want to show about it only in the integer format, like after dot two digits. So it shows the result is this. Then 0, 12, then 2f. That means this is it shows like this is the format, then dot two digits. So this is the way we are going to add some string functions we can utilize with the help of sprintf. Then another one is we can do for another one example. Then str string we can assign some values in the array format. So we can use in curly braces. The values are red, blue, green, yellow, orange. Then we are going to joining for in both strings with the help of in single string. What it happened? The first string it shows the str to join str array, then hyphen symbol. So each value we can add with the hyphen symbol. So here it shows red, hyphen blue, hyphen green, hyphen yellow, hyphen orange. We are going to join in, that is the hyphen symbol. Another one example, we are going to join, that is the comma symbol. How it shows the result. So from this example, we are going to join, that is the comma symbol. So red comma, blue comma, green comma, yellow. So what is the symbol we needed? We are going to join it. So here we can join it, that is welcome. So what it happened? So it shows the result. Okay, that is red welcome, then blue welcome, green welcome, yellow welcome, then welcome orange. That is which is yellow welcome, then orange. So what are the variable, what are the values are there? each value we are going to adding the value is welcome. Then otherwise we can add it for this type of symbols like plus symbol, star symbol, comma symbol. So it shows red plus star, blue plus star, green plus star, yellow plus star, orange. So this is a symbol we are going to add or join any type of strings. That is a very interesting one. What are the strings we want to add? Then another one example we are going to do. So here we can write it. The values are students is the array variable. From this variable, we are going to store the value. Then we can call for this value like there is a student. We can mention it, just the word, then replace. So str replace. From the student variable, then we want to find where is Riva is there. We want to replace to foul me. Then we want to show about it the first name of the str took. Here it shows the result is Paulima tuta is replaced. Then where is there it will replace for this Riva. Then the column 10 it shows for Sophia. It will took the students the first name. The first name is source for this Sophia. So this is the way we are going to do for the searching and replacing the substring. Then display the first name of which is the str okay is there or str took, it shows the result. So these type of examples we can do with the help of the string functions. Then another one example we can declare str1 is this is test, str2 we can write it this is text. Both string we are going to compare str1 and str2. If the condition is false means is not equal. If condition is true means this is the equal. So str1 is source, this is the test. str2 is this is text. Answer is this is a test and this is a text are not equal. So this type of string functions we are going to do some simple if-else statement also we can add with the help of in string function. Like when we are going to finding for the palindrome. So what is the procedure for the palindrome? We can compare the both strings from left to right, right to left. Both strings are equal means then the text or the string is palindrome. Otherwise, not a palindrome. We are going to following the various string functions using string. Yeah, so that is stored for this displaying the first name. This is it will store for the Riva is replaced to foul me. Then another one example we know about it comparing the two strings both are equal or not equal using decision making. That is the if, else or end. If true means it will print it, false means it will print it. So this type of any type of string function we can use it. So these are very interesting do for whenever we have any type of string operations in Matlab. Then another one is we know about it from the Matlab. What are the functions are there? With the help of the function, how we are going to do the various options from the function. The lot of sub function is also there. How we can add this type of functions from in Matlab means we can add first we know about it what is function like. So the function means there is a group of statements that together perform a task. How it will source the task means we have the lot of task is available from in Matlab. How we can use this type of task means we have some separate the next concept is very interesting in MATLAB. So that is the MATLAB functions in MATLAB. So what are the functions are there? How we are going to using for the various function, like sometimes we can utilize for the functions are some local workspace. Sometimes we can use it for the base workspace. So this type of functions where we are going to add it means we can add it from the more than input when we can add from the coding. So from the functions we are going to operate the variables within So from the functions, we are going to operate on variables within their own workspace. It is called the local workspace. From the separate from the workspace, you are going to access at the end of MATLAB command prompt, which is called for the base workspace. The function is also can accept more than one input arguments and may return more than one output arguments. So what type of functions available from in MATLAB means we have a lot of functions are there. I'll show about it a few functions from MATLAB. For example, here the function name is maximum. Then from this maximum, we are going to find n1 to n5. What is the maximum available from this function? So here we can assign it m maximum is equal to n1. If we can add n2 is greater than maximum, the result is n2 we are going to assigning is the maximum. If the condition is n3 greater than maximum means we can assign n3 is the maximum, n4, then n4 is the maximum. If n5 is greater than maximum means n5 is the maximum. How it calculated for the function for the maximum means it will source when we are going to assigning the value for n1 to n5, it will source depends upon the input, which is the maximum value it will assign. Then the another one example, we have the anonymous function is available. What do you mean by this anonymous functions means? Like same in inline function we are going to using for C or C++ like. It's defined from the within single MATLAB statement. It consists of single MATLAB expression and any number we are going to give for input and output also. For example, we are going to find what is the value of power. So at xn, the power of x power n, we can find it power of 7 power 3, then 49 power of 0.5, 10 power of minus 10, 4.5 power of 1.5. You can define what is the anonymous function right at the MATLAB command line within the function or script. So first we can define for this function. After defining this function, you can call where we are going to call for this type of functions. You can create simple function without having to create a file for them. The syntax for creating the anonymous function is f is equal to what is the argument list, then what is the expression. So this function we are start with at symbol. So at what is the argument list, then expression. For example, this type of same program we are going to call with the help of in MATLAB means what output we are going to expect. So the first we are going to expect what is the value of the power of 7 power 3. So that means first we know about it. What is the 7 power 3? Then it shows the result. This is the value of 7 power 3. Then we can find what is the value of, then we can assign it power is equal to x of n, then result is power 7 power 3 means 7 into 7 into 7, so that means 343. Then we can find 49 power of 0.5 means that is 7. Then 10 minus power means the result is shows 1.0 up to x power minus 10. Then 4.5, the power is 1.5 means the result is 9.5459. So this is the way we are going to find, or we are going to find the anonymous function after defining. So first we can define it. After defining, we are going to find this type of anonymous function in MATLAB. Then the next one is how we have the various primary and sub-functions. From in MATLAB, any function other than the anonymous function must be defined within a file. So anonymous functions start with at symbol. So each function file contains the required for the primary function that appears first and any number of optional sub-functions that comes after the primary function and can be used it used by the same primary function. Then primary function, it is also called outside of the file that define them either from command line or from other function. But sub-functions cannot be called from the command line or other functions outside the function file. These type of sub-functions are visible only to the primary function and other sub-functions within the function file that defines them. I'll show about it some suitable example. Then we know clearly how they are doing for this type of primary and sub-functions. For example, we are going to find the quadratic equation. So what is the formula for the quadratic equation? So how we are going to using for primary and sub functions. So we are going to finding the quadratic equation. What is the formula for the quadratic equation? The quadratic equation formula is the square root of plus or minus b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So this function we want to find it for the quadratic equation. So here we need for one primary function, one sub function. So how we can create it for the function? Here the function values are x1 comma x2. From the quadratic we can add for the value is a comma b comma c. Then we can find the value of d. Then the d value is a comma b comma c. Then x1 and x2. x1 is minus b plus d is divided by 2 star a. Then x2 is minus b minus d divided by 2 star a. Then we can find the function for this disk ABC, the square root of b squared minus 4ac. So this is for the sub function. Then this is for we have the primary function. So from the primary function, we can apply it for this sub function, then it will calculate it for what is the value of quadratic equation. So this is the way we are going to using the various primary function and sub functions. Then another one is how we can add it for the nested functions. So from the decision making, we discussed for if else, if else. So that is nested if else statement is there. The same how we have nested function. From this nested function, you can define the function within the body of another function. These are called nested functions. You can define within the body of another function. That's all. The nested function contains any of all of the components of any other function. Nested function also define within the scope of another function, and they share access to the containing function workspace. Here we show about it. What is the syntax of nested function? The syntax is we can start with function, then x is equal to e of p1 and p2. Then the sub function for this, that is b p2. Then another function we can call function of y, that is b of p3. This function is n with here. This function we are going to n with here. For example, we are going to do for some simple example with the help of in quadratic equation, how we can calculate it for the square root of b squared, then square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2e. So how we can calculate it for this value means we can write it the first function, that is x1 x2 is equal to quadratic a comma b comma c. Then the another function so from here, quadratic a comma b comma c, we are going to create one more function, that is function disk. So this function is the nested function. Then d we are going to assigning square root of b squared minus 4ac. Then close this function. Then we have another one statement we can add it. X1 is equal to plus minus b plus d divided by 2 star a. X2 is equal to minus b minus d divided by 2 star a. Then this function we are going to n with here. So this type of function, it is called nested function. So the same program for the quadratic equation. We know the primary function and we have sub functions are there. The same program we can show about it in the nested function also. Nested function is also one of the important concepts when we are going to writing for any MATLAB programs for doing any type of mathematical equations. Then another one function, it is called the private function. So private function is the primary function. It is visible for only to limited group of other functions. These type of functions you do not want to expose to implement. Then you can create them to as a private function. So for example, from the private function, reside in subfolders with the special name is called private. Then they are visible only to the function where it is available from in the parent folder. For example, here we create the function is this. From this, we have three variables are there, a comma b comma c. Then we can find the square root for this b squared minus 4ac, then n with this function. So here, which is the private function, then the private functions we show about it, which is available in the same folder. It shows for the another one function x1 comma x2, then the quadratic value of a comma b comma c. Then this we can find it, the variable is d. Then x1 and x2 we can find it minus b plus d square divided by 2 star a. Then minus b minus d divided by 2 star a. So this type of programs we can add for in private functions. So how we are going to call it? What is the result it shows for if we are going to using for this private function means it will calculate it for the quadratic equation, then it shows the result. What is the value of x1 and x2? Then we have the global variable is also another one concept. Previously we discussed for the variables. Then array variables also we discussed in the previous session. The variable means we are going to store the value. How we are going to store the value? With the help of variable. Then what do you mean by global variable? So global variable means it can be shared by more than one function. For example, if we need to declare the variable as global in all functions, if you want to access the variable from the base workspace, then declare the variable at the command line. The global declaration must occur before the variable is actually used in the function. It is good practice. We can use the capital letters for the function name of global variable to distinguish the other variable from the global variables. For example, here we are going to create it for one simple program. We are going to finding the average number. So how we are going to finding the average number means with the help of the function, we can show about it the average number. So here we can create the function. Function is avg. Here we can calculate it what is the value of the average of numbers. Then we can declare the global variable is total. So total means it can be accessed in both classes. Other than class, it can be accessed. So here average is equal to sum of numbers divided by total. Then global total we can assign with 10. Then n numbers is this. Then we can find average av is equal to average of n. So the total we are going to using from this function. Then again we are going to call from here, that is also total is equal to 10. Here the global variable is there. So we can use excluding the function or excluding the function means this type of variable it is called global variables. So where we are going to using for this type of programs means if we have our programs is we can create it for the more functions, then we can add it for this type of variables. Another one is up to this we know about it, the basic concept of Matlab. So how we are going to create the function, how we are going to create the subfunction, how we are going to create the global variables, then how we can using for the string functions in Matlab. The next one is how we are going to import the data in the different formats. I have the data in the image format. Then I have the data in the CSV format. I have the data in the Excel format. How we are going to import from in Matlab? From in Matlab, we are going to importing the data. That means loading data from the external file. What is the function we are going to use? It means the function it is called import data. So this function is also allowing and loading various data files of different formats, including XLS, CSV, Jpeg, TXT, etc. What are the suitable data import option is there means how we are going to loading the data into array. That means we want to know about it. What is the file name we are going to import it? So here we are going to import the file name like this. A is equal to import data file name. Here we are going to loading the data into array A. From the file is denoted by file name. Sometimes we are going to load the data from the system clipboard. Sometimes we can copy anywhere. We want to import from here. We can write it. That is paste special. Hyphen paste special means we are going to paste which is available from the clipboard. Another one is we are going to import the data with the help of in delimiter is separated by the column. We can add like the ASCII file, then file name of the clipboard data. You can use it for this delimiter IN. Then we can add this syntax is import the data when we are going to loading for any type of ASCII or any file name or any clipboard, then reading numeric data or starting with any type of headlines. A is equal to import data, then delimiter, then header lines, etc. Sometimes we are going to, after importing the data, we can return the detected delimiter character for the input of ASCII file. So that time we can add the delimiter out, header lines out, then import data. Just we try some simple data, how we can import in the images, how we can import it in the text file, how we can import it in the Excel file, how we can import it in the Access file. We can do for some simple example. Here we are going to import the file with the help of in Jpeg. So how we are going to import the Jpeg file in Matlab? So whatever you have the image, that image we want to import it. How we can import it means it will source with the help of the image format. Then after it shows the image formats, what is the file name? So here we can do it. First we can mention it. What is the file name? File name is equal to where our file is located. My file is located from in the picture folder. The file name is this. The extension is .jpeg. So that is the file name we are choose from the C colon from the picture folder. Then A import data file name, that is the syntax. So what is the file name we mentioned it? That is the file name we can add from here followed by semicolon. Now we can image of variable name is A. So we are going to calling A. For example, we can just try to run what output we are going to expecting, how this image is imported. Just we can write it, file name. The file name is location is this, then import file name, then image A. So what is the image it source? Which is the image we can store from this location, that image is source. The image is source in the figure format. So the image is source like this. Which images we can load from the same file name, smile.jpeg. So the image is source like this. So whatever we need to load it, we can try to load with the help of in import data. So we can try to do for any other images we are going to load it means we can choose the location, then we can try to do for this type of images. If we have any other image, if you want to load it means you can choose the location. After choosing the location, you can choose the image name, then what is the file name, then we are going to load it. So just we can try to search any one image from the Google, then we can try to load it. How we can load it for that type of images means the simple way, after downloading the image, we can load. Yeah, so we can add or we can import the data with the help of in the Jpeg. The next one is we are going to importing the data in the txt format. So before importing the txt format, we want to specify what is the delimiter and column header. So here we can mention it, the column header is this. We want to create with the help of in the space delimiter, then ASCII file with the column header, then we can store the file name is weekly data. Weekly data text, we are going to import it. How we are going to import it for this type of weekly data means just we can create the data with the help of txt format. After creating the data, we are going to import. So how we can import means that is a simple procedure. We are going to import where our file is located, that file location, the direct link we want to give. So where is the link is there, that file we can open with the help of that location. So what is the text is source? The text we want to exactly you can utilize. So first we can open the notepad. From the notepad, this you can try to copy and paste. After copy and paste, we can try to store the file name, then extension. Extension is .txt. If we can store with the extension of .txt, then we are going to import the data which we have in the txt format. So with the help of in txt formats, how we can write the code means we can write it, there is the file name, then what is the extension which the file is located, we can using for this delimiter and header, then import the data, file name, delimiter and header lines. After importing this, we are going to view the data. What data we are going to view? Only 1 to 7 we want to view the data. Then we can using the display, which is the column header is available. Then which is the data is display. Then display for this value with the help of viewing the data. Then The same we want to display the importing the data with the help of in special is which is available from where we are going to copy. Sometimes we can copy it, which is the text we are going to copy, then we can paste. So how we are going to show about it, this type of importing data with the help of in txt format, then it will import, it will source like the paste special also we can try with the help of in the which we have copied recently. So that is we can show about it in the txt format. So that is also possible, we can import the data. Then the next one is how we have the various low level file we can give for input and output. So what are the import data function is available for low level and high level. So the low level input function is allow most control over reading or writing file. Then however this type of functions need to more detail the information about which is you have the function is available for efficiently. So first we know about it, what are the files available, how we are going to utilize file close, then file open, then file error, file gets, scanf, file seek, then file tell, rewrite, etc. What type of functions are there? The close means we are going to closing the file, test end of the file, then f error. So this f error we can use it for when we can know about it, the information about the file errors. Then we added for sometimes the functions are we have which is from read line in the file keeping the new line characters, open file, then printf. So this type of various functions are there we can utilize in the different purpose for the opening, then reading, writing, rewinding, scanf, specify the position of open file, then f write the data to binary file. The next one is we have the importing text data files with low level. So which we have in input and output. The Matlab is also provided for the various low level import text files like scanf. So fscanf function, it reads the formatted data in the text and ASCII file. Sometimes we can do for the one line of a file at a time means we can using for f get l, f gets function. This read one line of a file. Then f read is also another one function. This function it reads, which is the stream of the data at the byte of or bit level. We have another one data file is there, that is my file text. This file we can store or saved in our working directory. Then the file is rainfall, the data of 3 months means we can find it the same in the same location. Then the data we are going to contain repeated the sets of time, month, and rainfall measurements. The header data is stored the number of months. So M we are going to set the measurement. So it shows the clearly what the output we have if we have the values of the rainfall data. So already we have the data for the rainfall, okay, for the last 3 months. The months are June, July, August. So these 3 months data we have. Then we are going to do for finding the rainfall. Okay, what we have the data. Then just we want to store with the extension of .txt. Then we are going to open the file. Then the function and get the file identifier. What is the format we are going to specify? The format we are going to specify in the various data types. Then the formats are the string we can mention it in %s. Then we have the %d for the integer. So we have import the data with the help of in the various specified formats like %f we can utilize for the floating point for number. Sometimes we want to skip for some literal characters in the file. We are going to include the format like that is we can use asterisk symbol. For example, we are going to write some simple scanf statement. What we are going to get the result after writing this scanf statement. The scanf statement we can view. So what are the functions we have? So like mscanf fit, then what is %s, %s, then again this, then month and day we can add. So defaultly we have fscanf, we are going to read data according to our format, which we have the description until it does not find any match for the data means it will reach the end of file. So here we have how many rows, how many data are there. We have 3 sets of data. We have like June, July, August. This all we have, each time it will read 7 rows, 5 columns. Then we have the data from the workspace. It will store read from the file. The structure have 3 fields like time, month, rain data. So all values we can store in the array format. After storing this array format, how we are going to call with the help of the file name, what data we have, then how it will source the result. So here the file name is my data is myfile.txt. Then we have totally 7 rows, 5 columns. From these 7 rows and 5 columns, we are going to opening the file. So file open, then file name. Then we want to get the input from the database. From the data file, we have what is the string of this. Then we can read the each segment of measurement. We can add it for the date, time, month. Then rain data also we want to get from the user what which is available from the data. It will source the my data and display my data and month, then rain data and time. So the time it source this, then it will source the second row, then the third day value we have, the time, then what is the month, then 7 rows and 5 columns. So these three we want to display, which is the data we have my file.txt. So this is also simple procedure how we can import the data with the help of input and output. Then another one example from the data output, how we can display or how we are going to export. Now we know the procedure how we can import the data in the JPEG format or TXT format or any other formats. Sometimes we want to export the data which is the need from the user. So the data or we can show about it the output. Data export in Matlab means to write into the files. Matlab is also allowing to use your data to another application, that is read ASCII files. For Matlab, it's also provided for the several data export option. One is we can show about it in the rectangular format or delimited in the ASCII data file from an array. Then another one is it shows in the log format or specialized ASCII file using low level function, and we can show about it in MEX file to access your C or C++ or Fortran, etc. So these are the 4 major types of files we are going to export it. So which is the format the users expect means we can export it. Apart from this, we are going to export the data in the spreadsheet format also. So how we can export it means we can using this export, we can save the file with the help of which is the specifying format we needed. Then we can using the function is dlmwrite function. So that is the function we are going to utilize, export the data, which is the format we need from the user. Then for example, we are going to show about it some simple data, which is the format we need to export. If it will export means what output it shows. We can try to some simple example how we can show this type of output in the ASCII format. So we can show about it. The number array is 1 to 9 and 0. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Then array, we can write it in the array format in the ASCII value. Then save the file with the help of that is data1.out. Then DL write with the help of in array format. So it shows the output in the array format. The same value we can show in the ASCII value in the array format. This is we can show about in the data2, which is available. We have the same data. So this type of output we can try whatever we have the data which we are going to export in the format. So this is H is the hello. This hello we can save. This is the ASCII format. Then what is the text data we have in the output. So that is also we can try to export, which is the format we need to export it. So that is also we can try with the help of in Matlab. Then another one example we can try to do with the help of in Matlab, which is the data we are going to export means it will source in the log table format. So what is the value in the log table format means here we have the matrix is this. With the help of this matrix, we are going to export the values are like this. So here we can create simple matrix in 2 rows. X is equal to this 0, start is 0, increment by 10, maximum 100. Then we want to find the log value x of log x. Just we can open this file in txt format. We can write it. Then we want to print what is the value is available from the log value in the float value, float data type. Then y. Then we want to close the file. We can type that is log table txt. So which is the location is there, that file it will also exported. Then first we can try to do for the same program in Matlab means what it shows for the value is 0 to 100. So 0, 10, 20 up to 100. Start value is 0, increment by 10, maximum is 100. Then the function, the value is find it for this logarithm value. The equation is we can find x log of x. So what is the value of log 0 means it shows the function, that is the infinitive. Log 10 means it shows the value. Log 100 means it shows the value. The same value also we want to export in the format of txt. So now we clearly understand how we can import the data, how we are going to export the data. So what we have discussed in this session, so we discussed what some simple major topics. We started with the help of the functions. Before we know about it, the smallest and the largest integers, what is the minimum and maximum range. Then how we are going to using string functions in Matlab. Then we started the various functions like anonymous function, primary function, sub function, nested function, private function, and global variables. Finally, we know about it, how we can import the data with the help of in Jpeg or text file. Finally, we finished how we can export the data in ASCII format or txt format. Now, do you have any doubt or any clarification? Please write from chat box. Whatever you have any doubt, please write from chat box. Yeah, please fill the attendance form. Attendance form is posted from the chat box. Don't forget filling the attendance form. Okay, please fill the attendance form. Attendance form is posted from the chat box. Yeah. If there is no doubt means Thank you, one and all. Thank you. We'll meet on tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Thank you.